The first snow of December fell like a quiet judgment on Caleb Walker's ranch, settling over broken fences, empty barns, and fields that had once fed 3 generations before him. And as he stood on the porch with cracked hands, wrapped around a chipped mug of coffee gone cold, Caleb wondered if this would be the winter that finally buried the Walker name for good, because the cattle were gone. The bank notices stacked like accusations inside the kitchen drawer, and the loneliness pressed harder than the cold ever could. So when the letter arrived weeks earlier, offering a mail-order bride, willing to come before Christmas, he'd signed, his name not out of hope, but desperation, telling himself it was foolish, even as the train whistle echoed through the valley on Christmas Eve. And there she was stepping down from the carriage. A small woman wrapped in a wool coat too thin for the storm, eyes steady and calm in a way that unsettled him, introducing herself as Eleanor Hayes, with a voice that carried warmth despite the frozen air. And from the moment she crossed the threshold of his failing ranch house, she didn't look at the broken roof or the empty stalls, with pity but with quiet calculation, asking questions he didn't expect, about soil quality, water access, crop rotation, questions no one had asked him in years. And as the days passed, Eleanor worked without complaint, rising before dawn, cooking meals that stretched what little they had, mending clothes, and listening to Caleb speak about his father and grandfather as if their legacy still mattered. And yet something about her remained guarded, a secret she carried behind polite smiles and thoughtful silences, revealed only in moments when she studied the land like it was speaking to her. And one night by the fire, as snow battered the windows and the weight of failure finally broke him, Caleb admitted the truth, that the ranch would be gone by spring, that marrying her had been wrong, selfish, unfair. But Eleanor only reached across the table and said softly that she hadn't come seeking comfort. She had come seeking purpose. And if you're feeling the pull of this moment
we
of hope,
can't keep avoiding
standing
the
quietly
truth.
in the cold,
Then what do we do?
remember to subscribe to the channel, because stories like this remind us that sometimes salvation arrives when we least expect it. On Christmas morning, Eleanor finally revealed the truth she had been carrying, not with drama but with humility, explaining that before answering his letter, she had managed agricultural estates back east after her father's death, had studied land restoration, crop diversification, and sustainable livestock practices at a time when women were rarely allowed near such decisions. And as Caleb listened in stunned silence, she walked him through plans already forming in her mind, reviving the soil with winter cover crops, converting unused land into high-yield grazing, selling specialty goods instead of raw stock. And though doubt flickered in him, something stronger followed, belief. And together they worked through the cold months, Eleanor negotiating contracts, keeping ledgers, teaching Caleb to see his land, not as a graveyard of failure, but as a foundation for renewal. And when spring arrived, it brought more than green shoots. It brought buyers, stability, and a future neither of them had dared imagine. And on the day the bank agent returned expecting surrender, he left shaking his head in disbelief, because the Walker Ranch was alive again, not saved by luck or miracle, but by trust, partnership, and a woman who had arrived as a stranger and became everything. And as Caleb stood beside Eleanor watching the sun set over land reborn, he realized the greatest gift Christmas had given him wasn't survival. It was hope restored. And if this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you that hidden strengths can change everything, subscribe to the channel now, because the next story might just be the one that speaks to you.